Hey, welcome to Yogalates with SJ and to this 30-minute Pilates workout. This is a full body workout and we are going to be using only a mat. We don't need any other equipment unless, of course, you want to add in some ankle weights or some wrist weights. Starting in a seated position, so any kind of cross-legged seat that feels comfortable for you, rolling the shoulders up, releasing the shoulders down. Taking a moment here maybe to close the eyes or soften the gaze. And just finding a neutral pelvis. So you're lifting up from the pelvic floor all the way out the top of the head and starting to find some deeper breaths. So as you breathe in, expanding the ribs, the heart, and drawing that breath all the way up to the top of the head. And then as you exhale out, starting to bring the belly button back towards the spine as you start to press all of the air back out. And then doing that again. So inhaling deeply in, expanding the belly, the ribs, the heart, feeling that expansion. And then as you start to exhale, starting to bring the belly button back towards the spine. Awesome work. Now we're starting to bring the arms forward and you're keeping that lift up from the tailbone all the way out the top of the head. And then you're starting to bring the chin to chest as you reach the fingertips further forward. And then as you inhale in, you're coming back up, lifting the head up. Exhale as you start to bring the belly button back towards the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, finding that length again. Sitting up tall, exhale as you start to bring your chin to chest. And inhale, coming back up and sweeping the arms all the way around. Exhale as you bring the fingertips down to your mat. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale as you interlace the fingers, pressing the palms towards the ceiling. Shoulders slide down the back. Inhale, pressing those palms up. Exhale as you start to come up and over to the right side. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, coming up and over to the left side. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, twisting from the belly button up and looking to the right. And then inhale, back through center. Exhale, twisting left. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale as you float the arms all the way back down. And shoulders come up, releasing the shoulders down and away from the ears. A few shoulder rolls here, backwards, and then we are coming to a seat, bringing the soles of the feet onto the mat. And we are finding a length from the lower back all the way out the top of the head, belly button to spine, and twisting over to the right side. And inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, twisting left. Inhale, coming back through center, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, twisting right. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, keeping that core engagement as you come over to the left side. Inhale, coming back through center, and exhale, staying here. Starting to roll the spine all the way down, vertebra by vertebra, coming down onto your back. Sliding the left leg long, right knee comes in and pointing the right toes towards the ceiling. Heel turned in, toes slightly turned out, a very small circle in one direction and then the other. And as you continue to do this, keeping everything else in the body very, very still. Belly button comes back towards the spine. And it is a very small circle straight out from the hip and then bending the knee, bringing the foot back down and coming up, rolling up. Inhale, lengthening the arms forward, reaching towards the feet, head comes down towards the knees. Inhale, sitting up tall. Exhale as you bring the soles of the feet back onto the mat, bending through the knees, rolling the spine down and circle sweep the arms around as you straighten out the legs. Inhale, coming up, belly button back towards the spine, lifting, lifting, lifting. Exhale as you float down, head to knees. And inhale, reaching the arms up, shoulders away from the ears, circle sweep the arms around, reaching the fingertips forward, soles of the feet come onto the mat and rolling down with control, coming down onto your back, and the right leg goes long and left toes point up towards the ceiling. And we are keeping everything still here, tiny circle in one direction, and then the other, and continuing with this, keeping the whole core and pelvis really still as you do this, keeping your mind to those muscles of the core. Belly button comes back towards the back body and coming back through center, bending the knee and straightening the leg. Inhale, circle sweep the arms around as you come all the way up, belly button to spine, reaching towards the feet, head to knee. Inhale, coming up, reaching the arms. Exhale, circle sweep the arms around and roll in the spine, vertebra by vertebra all the way down. Wrapping the hands around the front side of the shins, hugging the knees. And then as you inhale, reaching the arms and legs long. Exhale, circle sweep the arms around as you draw the knees back in. Inhale, sweeping the arms and the legs long. Exhale, circle sweep the arms around, drawing those knees in. And keeping this going as you continue with this, making sure that you have got your core engaged the whole time and you have got that neutral pelvis. The arms are only coming to the level of the ears. Last one here, and hugging the knees and lengthening the legs up towards the ceiling. Hands come behind the head and core engaged. Heels together, toes slightly turned out, and as you lower the legs down, inhaling in, exhale, power the legs back up. Inhale, lowering down, exhale, coming back up with those legs, keeping your head and shoulders lifted here. Belly button comes back towards the spine, gluing the legs together and using your core to draw those legs in. Inhale as you lower the legs down a little bit. Nice work. Now we're just bringing the hands to wrap around the front side of the shins, lowering the head and shoulders down and taking a moment and starting to float the feet all the way down onto your mat, reaching the fingertips towards the back of the heels, finding some length through the back of the neck, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale as you start to lift up high into a bridge. You're coming up onto the balls of the feet, lifting the heels up. And then as you start to exhale, lowering the pelvis down just a little bit, and inhale, lifting up again, keeping those heels lifted. Exhale, lowering the pelvis down, hovering the pelvis just above the mat. Inhale, lifting high. Exhale as you control a little bit down. Keeping this going, so you're lifting up as high as you can onto the back of those shoulders, keeping the tailbone lengthened towards the end of your mat, and you are keeping those heels lifted the whole time. This time, you guys, you are staying lifted here, lifting, and then you are starting to bring the heels to come down just about to the mat, and then you are lifting those heels back up again. So keeping the pelvis high as you continue to lift and lower the heels, but we aren't bringing the heels all the way down. And then this time we're going to start to bring this together. So you're lifting the pelvis up and lifting the heels up, and then you are lowering the heels down. Pelvis lowers down a little bit too, and then lifting back up again high. Nice work. Keeping this going, keeping your weight even through both glutes, through both feet, and you are keeping some space between the chin and the chest. Belly button is back towards the spine. You are imagining that you are being drawn up by a string from the front side of the hips. A few more here, you guys, doing so good. Lift it up and lower it down, and then coming all the way down with control. Nice work. Bringing the arches of the feet together, the knees come together, gluing the legs in, and you are lengthening the legs up towards the ceiling. Heels together, toes slightly turned out, and you are starting to lift the pelvis and then lowering it back down with control. Inhale, coming up, keeping the ribs closed. Exhale as you start to lower the pelvis back down. Seeing if you can use your core to do this as well as your glutes, rather than so much pressing your hands down into the mat. But you can also use a little bit of pressing down if you want to into your mat to help you to lift up, just keeping your core engaged here. Now we're bending softly into the knees, keeping those legs glued together and continuing with this. You're using your core to draw the knees in and lifting the pelvis slightly off the mat, and then keeping that core engagement as the lower back starts to connect back onto the mat again. Keeping this going, really using those core muscles. Nice work. And one more, coming all the way down and reaching the arms up overhead. Inhale as you start to lift up, rolling up, sitting up tall. Exhale, lengthening the legs out. And then we are bending into those knees and coming to bring the fingertips to point forward. Elbows go straight back. We are coming to a tricep dip. So elbows come back as you start to lower down, and then lengthening back up again. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Shoulders away from the ears, keeping your core engaged, ribs closed. And it is a very small hinge back. You aren't locking the elbows at the top, so you're keeping some connection into the back of the arms, into those tricep muscles the whole time, and keeping everything lifted up tall. So the lower back is in that same line as the rest of the back, as well as the back of the neck. So everything is in a really nice line here. Nice. Coming back through center, gluing the legs together, and you have got your left leg lengthened out, rolling all the way down with control. And then inhale as you start to come back up, keeping those legs glued together, lifting high. Exhale, rolling down with control. Inhale, coming up, using your core to lift you up. And exhale as you roll all the way down, vertebra by vertebra. Inhale, coming up, sitting up tall, lengthening the fingertips towards the toes. Exhale as you start to lower down. Inhale, coming up, lifting up even higher. Lifting up from the tailbone all the way out the top of the head, and then exhale as you roll all the way down. Coming down and sweeping the arms all the way around. Let's come to the other side. Right leg goes long, gluing the legs together. Inhale as you come up, sitting up tall into your V-sit. Exhale as you roll back down with control. Inhale, coming up, sitting up even taller here. Exhale, rolling back down with control. Keeping this going. Keeping those legs glued together the whole time. You can have your toes turned out, heel slightly turned into that Pilates V if you like here. We are keeping everything very much working together in one long line. So keeping the shoulders away from the ears. And final one here, coming all the way down onto your back and just starting to draw the right knee in, and then lengthening the toes out and pointing the toes towards the ceiling, and then lowering the leg back down, bending the knee in and straightening again, keeping this going. So you're using your core here to move this. Everything else is staying very, very still and stable through the pelvis, the upper body. Let's come straight over to the other side. So the left leg goes long and sweep it up. Draw it in, using your core, closing those ribs, making sure you're not flaring open the ribs, and you've got your core engaged, your pelvis is heavy and nice and still here. You've got a little bit of space between the lower back and the mat here, so you've got a neutral pelvis. And one more, coming back down with that foot and starting to bring the arms up overhead, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale as you reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling and lifting all the way up and sitting up tall. And exhale as you start to bring the legs to be long, and we are starting to bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee. Right fingertips come down onto your mats, and you are twisting to gaze over the shoulder here. Inhale, coming back through center, finding length. Exhale, coming over to the other side. Any kind of movement into the feet that feels good here. Maybe a flex of the toes back towards the face. Maybe you're pointing the toes. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, closing the legs back together and folding forward, head to knee. Belly button comes back towards the spine. Staying here, taking a deep breath in and a full breath out. And then on your next inhale, belly button back towards the spine, chin stays tucked as you roll all the way up, sitting up tall and sweeping the arms forward, palms come together, and then pressing the palms out, circle sweep the arms forward as you bring your head down towards the knees. Keeping the hips pressing back, belly button comes back towards the spine, inhale, sitting up tall, and exhale, releasing the shoulders down. Coming over onto your right side, and we're going to start to lift and lower the top leg. So as you continue with this, you have got a slight flex into that foot and you are keeping a soft core engagement. You've got your hips stacked, your shoulders are stacked. You're not collapsing down into that bottom shoulder, and you are lifting up out of the side waist. So you're keeping a bit of space between the side waist and your mat here. It's just a lift up to about hip height and then a lower down. Then let's just stay here, keeping your leg at that hip height, and it's just a small circle in one direction. Tiny circle in one direction, straight out from the hip, and then going back the other way. Tiny circle in the opposite direction, keeping your ribs closed, keeping everything else really still here, and then drawing those knees in and coming to a mermaid. So you've got the right shin in line with the front of your mat, and the left shin is in line with the end of your mat, and you are starting to sit up really tall, sweeping one arm up and gazing underneath the armpit, and then exhale as you float over to the other side, reaching the fingertips up, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, float it over, keeping your core engaged and finding some length through the side waist. Beautiful work, and coming all the way back through center, coming to your tabletop position. So you've got your shoulders in line with the hands and the knees in line with the hips. You are lifting the left knee out to the side and then drawing that knee back in and then opening it out to the side again. So as you continue with this, you've got a neutral foot. You are keeping the gaze either straight down or slightly forward, so you've got length through the back of the neck, and you have got that beautiful long line from the top of the head all the way out the tailbone. Coming back through center, lengthening that leg long, and we are starting to bring the leg over to one side and then coming out slightly to the other side. So it is just a very small movement from side to side here. The hips are pointing straight down. The leg is no higher than hip height, and you are keeping your weight very even through both sides of the body. So both hands, and also just keeping that core engaged. Nice. Coming back through center and coming all the way up to a kneeling position. Let's come over to the other side. So taking your time to come over to your left side, stacking the hips, stacking the shoulders, and we are finding that slight little flex into the foot as you start to lift and lower that top leg. Keeping everything else very, very still here. It is just a lift up to about hip height and then controlling the movement all the way back down. And inhale as you lift it up, exhale, lowering down with control. Keeping your core engaged, keeping that little bit of space between the side waist and the mat here. Now let's stay here, keeping the leg lifted at that hip height, and it is a small circle in one direction, straight out from the hip here, and then going back in the opposite direction. Making sure you're breathing. Don't hold your breath, and keeping everything really still through the whole body. And then one more circle here, and then lowering the leg down with control, drawing the knees all the way in. And let's come to that mermaid position. Sitting up nice and tall, you have got both legs bent. So you're coming into kind of almost like a Z position with the legs, and then inhale as you reach one arm up and over, and then coming up and over to the other side. Keeping the ribs closed, shoulders away from the ears, flowing freely here. This should feel really, really good. Finding softness into the muscles of the face and the jaw. And inhale, coming up. Exhale, floating over. Beautiful work. Coming back through center, and let's come to that tabletop position. So making sure that you are setting up with a soft core engagement. You've got the hips in line with the knees, and the knees and the feet are in the same line here. And then you are opening the right knee out to the side, and then slowly drawing that knee back in and keeping this going. So we are really getting into the outer thigh, the outside of the glute, the hip, and also really finding a connection into the inner thighs also. And of course, the core is needing to stay really still here to stabilize this movement. Nice. Let's come back through center, staying here, and you are bringing that right leg to come long, toes pointing back. And you are shifting the foot to one side, then the other. It's a really small little shift from side to side with this, keeping the hips to point straight down to your mat. You've got your core engaged the whole time. Don't let that go. And you've got length from the top of the head all the way out the toes. So there is no tension coming into any part of the back. And a couple more, breathing deeply in, fully out, and bringing the knee in. Coming to the left hand, and you have got your right leg extended out to the side, and we are finding a length from the fingertips all the way to the mat. So reaching those fingertips up, and you are finding a circle straight out from the hip here. Tiny circle in one direction, and then the other, going back the other way, keeping your core engaged, keeping everything else really still here. And then you are drawing the knee in, pressing the heel out, so keeping the leg at that hip height, and you are using your core to draw the knee in, and then maintaining that core connection as you press the heel out. Keep this going, breathing deeply in, fully out, staying strong, doing amazing, and one more here. Let's come all the way over to the other side. So the right hand comes down to the mat. You've got the left leg extended out, reaching the left fingertips up towards the ceiling, and tiny circles straight out from the hip in one direction. Keeping everything else very, very still here. Soft core engagement, ribs are closed. Now going back the other way. Tiny circles. Keep it going. This is challenging. Make sure you're breathing, and then bringing that knee in. Staying with the leg at that hip height, drawing the knee in. Maintaining that connection of core as you press the heel back out. Keep it going. Make sure you're breathing, you guys. And we are so close to the end of our workout. You are doing absolutely amazing. You are going to be so happy that you've done this. Nice. One more here, coming back through center, and let's stay here. We're coming to our tabletop position. Any little movement that feels awesome for you here as we start to unwind. So we're starting to come to either a downward facing dog, or you might want to find a child's pose here. And if you are in your down dog, just lifting the hips up really high towards the ceiling. You might want to start to sink the heels towards the mat, maybe having a bend into the knees, or you might have straighter legs. Just taking some really cleansing breaths in through the nose and out the nose or mouth, and then starting to lower all the way down. Knees come back down onto the mat, and rolling the spine, coming all the way up to a kneeling position. Then we're coming all the way down to a seat, and bringing the hands behind the knees as you roll the spine vertebra by vertebra, coming down onto your back. Lengthening the left leg long as you draw the right knee in towards the right shoulder, and any kind of movement into the feet and the toes that feels awesome here. And then taking the left hand to the outside of the right knee, and starting to slowly draw that knee across the body as you start to bring the right fingertips out to the side. Maybe the palm is flipped to the ceiling. You might let the head roll over to that right side, finding a really nice twist here. Taking some deep breaths in through the nose and all the way back out again. Releasing and relaxing, sending your breath to melt away any tension, into any area that feels any restriction, and then coming all the way back through center and unravel, and let's come straight over to the other side. So starting to draw the left knee in as you straighten out that right leg and squeezing it in, and then taking the outside of the knee, drawing the knee across the body as the left fingertips come out towards the side. Maybe the head rolls over to that left side, taking those deeper breaths, breathing into the side waist, feeling that expansion of the side waist as you breathe in, and feeling as everything softens as you exhale out. Relaxing the glutes, the tummy, the pelvis, back of the shoulders releasing, nice. And then coming all the way back through center when you're ready, rolling back. And then just starting to lengthen both legs up towards the ceiling, and then bending through the knees as you let the knees fall towards the side waist. Then letting the back of the heels relax towards the pelvis. You might let the hands hold on to the back of the knees. Just finding a really nice hip stretch here, and then drawing those knees back together. And you can either stay here, you might want to bring the legs up against a wall, or maybe bringing a block underneath the sacrum, the lower back, to find a waterfall pose. Or if it's in your practice, you might want to find a shoulder stand here, or you might want to come to plow with the legs coming all the way up and over. Just making sure that you don't let the head come to be to either side, so you're keeping the head in a neutral position if you are bringing those legs up and over. You really want to look after the neck here, and wherever you are, just taking your time to just do anything else that feels awesome for you today. Any other stretches? Maybe it is to find happy baby. Maybe it's to find a butterfly position of the legs, with the soles of the feet together and the knees falling out wide. Anything at all. Just taking some time to tune into your body, seeing what it needs today as we start to finish off before going about the rest of your day. It was absolutely beautiful to have you join me today, you guys, as it always is. Thank you so much for being here, and I'd love to hear how you got on with this workout. If there's any suggestions that you have for me, anything that you would love to see here on the channel, any kind of classes or anything at all, I would love to hear all about it. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. Can't wait to see you again on the mat soon. Take care.